Hey guys, thanks for tuning in today. Today we're making paella. This is going to be kind of a fun take on a traditional Spanish dish. It's a nice one-pan meal, and it's not going to take as long as you hear it does. So we'll go ahead and get started. We got some sausage here. I'm going to cut it in half lengthwise, and then you can cut it in half again if you want a little half or quarter moons. I'm just going to stick with half moons here and get it kind of chopped up, and then we'll go ahead and throw this in the pan so we can start cutting up our onions and peppers. So once we get this chopped, we can throw it in our pan here. And when you do this, you want to use a chorizo or an andouille, but sometimes you can't find that in the store, so Polish or smoked sausage will work just as well. This happens to be a smoked sausage, but you do what you gotta do. I'm just going to take an onion and we're going to dice it up. So we've cut the stem end off, cut it in half with the little lines, and we're kind of cutting with those lines, but not through the root of the onion. So we're just giving everything a chop. Give it a little turn, and now we got a diced onion. And then we'll do the same thing for the other side of it. We will cut our lines in it, and then we will give it a turn and chop it up, and we'll have a nice chopped onion. We can go ahead. Just because I have a small pan, we're going to go ahead and add that to my pan as well. We're going to turn my pan's on low for a second just because I didn't want to cook everything too much. I'm going to turn it to medium-high. You start your pan on medium-high with your oil, then add everything together if you want, or you can kind of start a little low like I did and just kind of add as you chop everything. We're going to cut the top of the bell pepper off, cut the bottom of the bell pepper off, and then we can kind of take our knife, stick it in there, and just kind of roll the bell pepper around the knife blade to cut the seeds out. And then you just kind of take a big cut down the middle of it, or down the side of it, and start slicing the bell pepper lengthwise. Be careful not to get the pepper juice will squirt in your eyes, because that doesn't feel very good. It's alright. These are going to be tears of joy, because I'm going to be so happy to eat this paella, because it's one of my favorite dishes to eat. It's a nice, easy, one-pan dinner. Those pepper juices. It's almost like the onions that make you cry. So I'm just going to finish chopping up our bell pepper here. And I'm going to go ahead and add that to my pan as well. And I've got to grab a spatula, so I'm going to run and grab a spatula real quick so I can stir this all up. So I'm just going to give this a big stir. I'm just going to kind of cook this until the onions are starting to sweat a little bit, they're kind of soft, and you'll see a little bit of char on the sausage, and the peppers will be softened as well. I'm going to go ahead and chop up the bottom of this bell pepper too. And then we'll go ahead and chop our garlic, so that way we can add that here when it's ready to go. Bell peppers in, and I got a couple small garlic cloves here, so we'll just kind of add that, count two small ones as one. So I'm just kind of smashing the garlic under my knife blade. Keep my fingers up, not curl underneath the knife, because that'll hurt. The edge of that knife is sharp. And I'm just kind of chopping this up real quick. Make sure you take the skin off the garlic. Thought I had all that off. That doesn't taste very well, so I'm getting my garlic chopped up here. And we're going to wait a second to add that to our paella, because we won't let it get cooked down a little bit. If we add the garlic too soon, it will burn, and that's not very good. Right now, you can check out shrimp, make sure the tail or the shell is off, and deveined. I should have bought shelled and deveined stuff for everybody, so we should be good there. Or deveined at the very least. You might have to shell it. That's pretty easy to do. So we'll kind of wait a second, and I'll fast forward it to get you to what the onions need to look like. Alright, so our onions are starting to be nice and soft, and you kind of see they're a little translucent. It takes about 5 to 8 minutes for that to kind of happen, so we got ours ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and add our garlic and let that kind of cook for a minute. You don't want to add the garlic in too soon, because if you do, it will burn in the process of your onions sweating, because it's the garlic is so tiny, the onions are bigger. So that's why we add it, so they don't burn. It's the only really wants to burn garlic in anything really. So now we need to add 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. This is going to give us some nice color. So that's 1, 2, and then we can go ahead and add our spices if you want. So we need a ½ teaspoon of turmeric. This is going to give it some nice color. This is a 1/4 teaspoon, so I need 2 of that. 2 teaspoons of paprika. 1 and 2. And then if you want, you can add a 1/4 or ½ teaspoon of fresh red pepper flakes or red chili flakes, whatever you want to call them. You don't have to add them. That's kind of a personal thing. We'll kind of add them. I get to look for my interns of why are you adding spicy stuff for dinner. It'll be good for you, don't worry. Capsaicin helps boost your metabolism, so it's kind of good to have just a little spice in there. So we're just kind of mixing this all up. You kind of want to smash that tomato paste up, get it mixed in with everything. Because if you get that cooked down a little bit, it'll get rid of that little bit of metallic flavor that it has, and also it'll kind of caramelize and give us a deeper, more flavorful dish. I do this with my marinara sauce, my chili. Anytime I use tomato paste, I make sure I cook it down and get it in, mix it in really well, so that way you can maximize the flavor of it. So you want to do this for 2 to 3 minutes, just kind of get it cooked down, get it incorporated, get it in with everything. And you kind of see it kind of stick on the bottom of the pan. It will kind of stay there. So I'm just kind of moving it around, getting everything mixed up. I can really smell that turmeric coming through. So I'm going to go ahead and add my rice now. And the reason I do my rice first is, one, so it can kind of get coated in all that nice flavor. You get a little toast on it, kind of like when you do risotto. So just kind of mixing it all in. And this just needs a minute or two, just kind of get it well coated. You want to kind of get the rice looking kind of goldenish red. And that's mostly from the turmeric and the tomato paste. Just get it all mixed up. You can see, the rice was nice and white when I put it in. Now it's coated in all of that tomato paste and the turmeric. I want to add 3 cups of chicken broth. And this will cook our rice. That's just a little bit of my chicken base left on the bottom. I didn't get completely mixed up, but it'll dissolve as we cook it. So I'm just going to kind of stir this real quick. And now we just kind of need to bring it up to a simmer and turn it down. So I'm going to actually crank this up to get it come to a simmer faster because my burner isn't doing the best. And that's the hard way of watching a pot boil. Yeah. All right, so now we came up to the simmer, and we're going to turn this down to about medium low, and we're going to let this go for about 10 to 15 minutes, and we're going to add our shrimp and our peas. So we'll be back in a second. We're going to let this kind of boil, and then we'll come back. All right, now we've got our liquid reduced a little bit, so I'm going to kind of take my shrimp, kind of lay it on top, and kind of press it into the paella mixture. So we're just taking it, and we'll kind of sprinkle these all about, and then we will press them in. Got a couple more here. I'm going to take my peas and then just sprinkle them over top. And these are frozen peas. They'll defrost in the process of cooking the last little bit of liquid out and cooking the shrimp. So just going to kind of let it be. You don't really want to stir it that much because if you stir it, you kind of want to get that little bit of a crust on the bottom, and you'll ruin that if you stir it. So just going to let this sit, kind of push the shrimp down, let the shrimp cook in the last little bit of that broth. And everything should be ready once the shrimp is done. So we're just going to kind of let this sit for a couple minutes, and we'll sit for another 8 to 10 minutes, and then dinner should be ready. All right, guys, so it's been about 10 minutes. There's still a little liquid here, but that's all right. Our shrimp is fully cooked, so we are ready to go. I'm going to turn my heat off and get a nice little spoonful here. I can't wait to dig into this. This is going to be great. The rice is looking good. My shrimp's cooked. My sausage is looking good. My peas are all in there. That is going to be a great paella. Hope you guys give it a try, and we'll see you next time.